Two.
For full disclosure, this meeting is being recorded.
I'm opening up a new matchbook.
Ooh.
Oh.
For next month? Is next month matchbook month?
The next history hangouts matchbooks, right?
Yeah.
So we all logged on at different times. I'll just say hello. Mark Woroff, I'm on the board. I'm the host, but Jill will be the host in a little bit. I see a bunch of names, many that are familiar and some that have returned that were new. So thanks everybody. This is super informal. It's meant to be fun. We're already talking about how we're going to do it in person because we've been gathering a lot of steam. And we're like, I don't know, let's do bags in the park or something. So open to suggestions to how to make this more fun and approachable for everybody and anybody that has any interest in Forest Park. This is not, there's no membership required. This is literally just nerding out on the screen. The topic can be pretty wide ranging. In this case, we just thought we'd talk about the etymology of Forest Park streets to give it some construct. We figured 7 to 8 p.m., but sometimes we go a little over, so we'll see. We certainly don't want to shut the meeting down. It's nice to see everybody. And happy St. Patty's Day to all you Irish folk. With that, anybody else wants to introduce themselves, please?
I just want to say I'm really excited to see Ken Knack is here. So for those of you that don't know, Ken Knack wrote a book, which title I cannot, it's Forest Park, Images of America, Forest Park. And I'm really excited that you're here because maybe you can also share some insights. You know, I'm the host, but I am by no means the master of Forest Park history. I just, I'm completely fascinated by the street names in Forest Park. And Ken Knack has done a lot of his own research in Forest Park and has a special, it's like we have a special guest here. So Ken, do you want to just take yourself off mute and say hello and what you're hoping that we can, you know, all these cool people that you get to meet? I'm waiting for you, Ken, to talk. So are you trying to find your mute button? It's okay. Sometimes you can hit the space bar and it'll just do it. Okay, it's not. So then click on your picture. If you put your mouse over your picture, there's 3 buttons and like you can mute yourself or unmute yourself. Can someone else help Ken? Is
The bottom
anyone
left corner, there's also the mute button, like on the full screen on the bottom left, there's it shows the microphone.
Jill, I made you the host. Maybe you can unmute him. I'm not sure.
Great. Are we putting it on me? I don't know. Let me see if I'm asking him to unmute.
There we go.
Did that help, Ken?
Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't show that he's muted, so.
Anybody know his phone number? Text him.
So Mark, I've hit the ask to unmute button and that doesn't seem to be helping.
Yeah, that's probably just a trigger for him to respond.
Oh, Ken, you have to be unmuted. Like this can't happen without you. I'm like beyond excited that you're here. So Ken,
Oh,
well,
Hey, did that work?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, great. Well, it said my browser wouldn't allow it, so I don't know. It's kind of strange, but it's nice to be here and join you guys. Sorry I missed the first one. I would have liked to have been here for the amusement park chat you guys had.
yeah, we have a lot of pictures from the amusement park. If it makes you feel any better, Ken, I also missed it. And I'm also sad, but it is recorded. So we can all go back and watch it. So, Mark Boroff made me this map, this poster behind me of the Forest Park street names. And every town kind of has a story to tell based on the names of their streets. And one of the things that I think is very interesting is that the most common name for a street in all towns is Park Street. And there is no Park Street in Forest Park. And that is partially because there were no parks, there were lots of fields. And so, in the early days of Forest Park, there were certainly lots of sports leagues and football, baseball, lots of different leagued sports, and they would just play at empty fields that were around town. But most of the street names that they're sort of on the grid system of Chicago, and I don't know what everyone's understanding of Forest Park is, and Ken and anyone else, please join in. But, if you go back to, let's say, the 1840s, there was a fellow by the name of John Henry Quick, who had a house in what's now known as River Forest. And he was from Harlem, New York. And he came here and he built the first roadhouse in the area. And at the same time, the train line, so the Galena-Chicago train line, which is the Chicago Northwestern line, came in. And they actually have a turnaround at, so in Forest Park, I guess I should ask, is everybody familiar, does everyone live in Forest Park or familiar with Forest Park? I don't know, a couple of nods, yeah. Okay, so where Farmington Foods is in Forest Park on the northern boundary, there's a train between us and River Forest. And in that area, there's actually a turnaround for the train line. So, and that's kind of a big deal because you would need that would be a place where the men working on the train line was sort of a middle ground between, I mean, not middle to us, but between Galena and Chicago. And that's the first train that comes in the Chicagoland area. And so from that, you have a lot of railroad workers that are working in the area. And John Henry Quick has the first roadhouse. It's actually on the River Forest side. And so the street names of Forest Park reflect people are naming the streets based on the different towns that are on the street on the different stops that you can go to from that train line, different lines. So you have, I should really get a map in front of me so I don't have to turn my head. So most of the streets in Forest Park, especially if you start from the northern end of town, are related to towns on stops along the different train lines. So you have Belvedere, Dixon, Rockford, Elgin, Marengo. So, and those are all towns still today that we, Beloit. So those are all stops on the train line. So, so that's all the north-south streets in Forest Park. Many of them, most of them are named after train line. The train stops on the train. And then, and as a matter of fact, Jerry Jacknow once said to me that all of the land that is north of Madison, if you go back, and April Baker is a realtor, so she might be able to confirm this or whatever, but if you go back in the historical records, all of that land was owned by the railroads at one time, and it got then acquired by people, being publicly owned. But those are all streets named after train lines. And then in about 1903, 1904, there was a big push to change the street names that are the east-west streets in Forest Park to match Chicago. Now Madison already was Madison, but Randolph was Sterling at the time, and Sterling is another stop on the railroad. But Oak Park did not change their addressing at that time, where Forest Park did change their addressing. So there's a book that and Ken, I'm sure you know this book, The History of Harlem, which came out in 1908. But that has all the streets are in a line, are still with the old addressing system. So like you would have 100 block of Madison would be like where Duck Fat is today. And then they went in and they changed all the addressing to match on the east-west. Wait, am I saying that right? Yeah, the east-west streets all match the Chicago addressing system. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna share my screen if I can, if Uli, you are here. I can't see you.
Incognito.
But if I share my screen, I can show some pictures here. And actually, Ken, I was gonna
I'm incognito.
So Uli, Kimberly, Joel, Mark are all, and Kristen are all board members with us, the coolest people. So something to aspire to. GR, Kim L, Jennifer, April, you know, Ken was a former board member. But okay, so I share my screen by hitting at the bottom. Hold on, I have to move this a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, share screen. And now you get to see everything that I have going on in my, let's see, files. So I want to
Just pick pick the program that you want to share.
Well, I want to go to a document that has all my photos in it, and I've done this
Go
before.
to that.
Files.
Go to that document and then share that.
So I've got
file.
Google Drive and Dropbox, which is not where it is. So I have to go back to my basic screen. All right, hold on a second. Isn't this fun, everybody?
So cool.
All right, wait. So stop sharing. Let me stop sharing because that's not what I want to share.
So if anybody has an affinity for research, there's some street names we're trying to figure out. I was cramming, trying to do some research last night because Jill's like, yeah, we don't know where lemur comes from. And so I was convinced that lemur was Lehman, Lehmann. That's the one that parallels the north side of the Eisenhower, kind of zigzags for the bridge and for the access off of Des Plaines and Harlem. But wow, it's a crazy rabbit hole once you like try to make a connection and you're like, yeah, I think so. And you're like, no, dead end there, dead end there. But this is so fun when you just kind of pick a topic and dig into it. I think I picked up Jill's passion.
So why won't it open my streets? I'm not trying to match a search. Oh, maybe I have to change my documents too. Let's go all files. There we go.
There you go.
So, we're gonna have this. That's not gonna work. Oh, it's because I'm in Word. See, I picked Word because I thought, okay, so let me stop sharing and try this again.
Hey, Jill, if you can let me share, I might be able to share a map from 1903.
Oh yeah, I'll share. Let's do that, and then I'll figure out how I can share. All right, so I go to. So tell us, how did you get this? How do I? Oh wait, I click on you, and then I make you. I allow you to be the host. Is that right, Mark?
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, you can allow everyone to share their screen, or you can transfer the host around.
So I actually don't see the sign that says share screen. How do I share the screen with everyone? Well, or even just, why don't I just make you the host? Because I can do that. That's something I'm capable of doing. Unless I can do this, share. Multiple participants can share screen at once.
Yes.
All right, so can you share your screen now, Ken?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Let's see.
April, I'm going to call on you. I want your input on the whole street thing in Forest Park.
Oh gosh, I had to go. The pressure, Mark. That's not nice.
Good warning.
I'm here to learn.
Right.
Can you guys see my screen now, or?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I can see your screen, so I'm sort of digesting it. So on the right, so okay, so yeah.
So,
Why
yeah,
don't you walk us through it if you can, Ken?
Well, I don't know how much I can walk through, but this is a map from 1903. I got a copy courtesy of the University of Chicago Library. It's a pretty cool map, especially when you could dig down into the details, because here it says Lemur's subdivision. So Mr. Lemur must have been an early property owner.
Mhm.
So
Also, what's really cool about this is it shows the old racetrack.
Yeah, that's going to be an upcoming topic for us. That's
So,
cool.
and you can see where south of 12th Street, which is Roosevelt, the street names are different. So like Houghton is Elgin, Gage is Marengo, Bruce is Circle, and psoriasis is Circle. So and that tells us in 1903 there was sort of this disconnect in the whole town. You know, it wasn't unified. Where Marengo hits north of Roosevelt, and then actually Bruce Street becomes Grell. Is that right? But the numbering, so this is interesting because they actually have West 74th, and then it says West 14th, West 75th, West 75th. Is that, am I reading that? Am I seeing that right? I don't know.
74th Court and 74th Avenue, and that goes back and forth.
It doesn't seem like it says court though, which is very common in Cicero and in Elmwood Park. I mean, it could be, it could very well be. I mean, that it was, oh, wait, go back. Because then I see the Dunlop.
Well, even on here, you could see that 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th also had names.
Oh, look at that. Octor, Ardish, and
I think it's
I don't know what,
Bradish,
oh, Radish.
Collier, maybe Rutger.
Wait, can you go down just to see the cemetery, the Waldheim? It's sort of interesting to just see what that says down there.
Oh, down here by the
Okay,
Jewish
yeah.
Waldheim.
Yeah, I'm just sort of curious. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, you can go up again. So the Jockey Club, right?
So Collier's 16th, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and it almost looks like the Harlem Jockey Club has this special off of Atner, which would be 13th Street. There was it almost looks like there's a separate entrance, right, Joel?
I think that was the entrance because there was a train route off the spur, wasn't there, from North Riverside area?
Well, I don't know if that went to, I don't know if the purpose of that, because like you can see
Or
the
did
trolley
they have-
route on 12th
Did
Street.
they have to walk? Did they have to walk from 12th to the? It had to have been right on the corner.
Yeah, there's some old pictures of the racetrack where it looks like the entrance was kind of on an angle.
Right.
Okay, then if we go up a little bit, and then if we go north of 12th Street, and you know, in 19, I think it's 1906, they renamed 12th Street in Chicago to Roosevelt after Teddy Roosevelt. But and that way actually there was a big event in it must have been because the Forest Park Review covered it, and so that's, you know, it must be post 1917, so circa, you know, 1918, 1919 is when Roosevelt Road becomes, or 12th Street becomes Roosevelt Road. Little side note. So and then okay, so we have from the right we have Harlem, and then the next street is, what is that? I can't see if that's a K or an H.
Looks like an H.
How do you think you might say that street?
Hmm.
I don't even know what nationality that might be.
It kind of looks like Houghton.
Houghton. That's my son just dropped something from the fridge. I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah.
It's an egg, in case you were wondering. Marengo. Okay, so then we have Marengo, and then your hand is on, is that Grell? Is that Grell?
Yep.
And then we have numbers. But don't worry, Yuba is labeled.
Oh yeah, I see that.
And but those are, it seems like all the, like Fillmore, Harvard, Lexington are all labeled. So Taylor Street is interesting because Proviso was originally named after Zachary Taylor, the Taylor Township. So I'm guessing that Taylor Street gets its name from Taylor Township. We were only Taylor Township for a month. But in this area was these people that were the Free Soil Party, which was kind of like the a division of the Whig Party that believed that, you know, a man should only be allowed to have two hands, not own slavery and own someone else's hands. So Taylor was supposedly in line with the Free Soilers. Unclear if he actually was, but it's the birth of the Republican Party, which gives way to wait, what did you do? Ken, what are you doing? We're not done. We're just babbling.
I was just going to ask you a question.
I have another map that's kind of cool too. Let me see if I can pull this one up because this is from 1874.
Oh, good. So maybe we have Daisy Street.
Yeah, exactly.
So, real quick, north of Madison, that's the oldest part of town, right?
Right, we hadn't gotten that far on that map
Okay.
from Ken.
Okay, here's a little section again from Harrison down to 12th. But yeah, you can see Hannah, Primrose, Magnolia, Daisy, Myrtle, Sharon. You also got Mercy and Trinity and Columbia.
Okay, so I need some help. Okay, so it's already Hannah Street on the right. So Hannah is Hannah.
Yeah.
And Hannah is named, at least according to the records in the Historical Society, Hannah is named because of supposedly, and this could be wrong, the information that I've gathered so far is that Thomas and Hannah are the children of Peter Farley. And Farley is Garfield was renamed Garfield School. It used to be the Farley School, but he was the first superintendent of schools. But I think that it wasn't just in this area. I think it was much higher than that. And he was a judge. But that, I mean, but it is interesting. So this is 1870, what'd you say?
1874.
Right, yeah. In the basement of the village hall, they have a leather, they have a gigantic book. It's like 3 feet tall with what seems like, and Mark, you might actually know more about this than I do. It feels like it's like leather pages. I mean, it's not just ordinary paper. And they have the maps. And this is kind of like the map that's there, only it's more in color. So Yuba, right? So I'm going to assume that Sharon, Myrtle, Daisy, Magnolia, Primrose are all plants that are growing in our or that people have brought over and are growing on those streets. Is that a fair assumption? I don't know. And then how many houses are even over here in 1870? I mean, most of this is farmland, right?
Yeah, I'm at 914 Beloit, which used to be Primrose, I guess, which I like that better personally, but my house was built in 1913.
Okay, so wait, Primrose, and you would be Primrose and
Oh, wait, I'm not Primrose, I'm Magnolia, I guess.
which
'Cause
I
it's
like better.
Hannah Thomas, so Thomas used to be Primrose, and then Magnolia, I guess, is Beloit.
Would be
right?
Beloit, right. And
I'll take that too over Beloit, but yeah, so I was on the 900 block, or I am on the 900
between
block.
Mercy and Trinity.
Apparently, yeah.
Is that because would Mercy be Harvard? Is that right?
No,
That,
Trinity would be Harvard, wait.
yeah, I think Trinity's Harvard. Yeah, it is.
Trinity's
You're right.
Harvard.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, because
you're right,
Mercy
Kristen.
would be Fillmore, and then
Fillmore.
Columbia would be
And
Lexington.
Lexington, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because Multnomah would be, no, because there's Polk Street sort of pops in there, doesn't it?
Some of those streets don't go all the way through anymore. Yuba,
Yeah,
I've got a 1915 map, and Yuba only goes about 2 blocks from Des Plaines.
Which
Yeah, it
is what
seems
it
like-
does today, right?
It seems like they combined some of these sections.
They did, and the other thing is I'm on the 1000 block of Lathrop on the east side of the street, so I would be on Daisy and Mercy, so in that number 19 block.
Okay,
The houses in the 18 block have super long lots, so here they all look the same size. Now
oh, yeah,
people
Yeah,
along
they're
that whole
different.
row, 13, 18, 25, their lots are like super long and big. I
But
have
I
lot
think you're
envy all the
Myrtle,
time.
actually. But I think you're Myrtle, actually, because Daisy would be Ferdinand, because there's Beloit, Ferdinand, Lathrop,
here,
right?
here, put that map back up, Ken, don't take that map away. I
Oh,
mean,
I got another one too here.
I'm pretty sure Lathrop was Daisy, because I remember that, because I think that sounds better than Lathrop,
I know, but like, then we're missing a street.
which is possible, because this is an old map.
Yeah, I got another one from 1910, if I can find it.
Now, my house was built in 1908, so that'll be interesting to see where mine falls on a 1910 map.
Right, so in 1908, and that would be, I mean, there was probably, I can't think of the houses that are around yours. But I'm, you know, yeah, I don't know, like, was your house a farmhouse? I mean, like,
It was owned
Claudia, who lives.
by some German family, and they had it from 1908 to like 1960 something. And then another person moved in the 60s/70s, and then it was the same owner all the way up until like 2002. So there's not many owners in my house.
It's very interesting.
Okay, so here's the other one. This is from 1910, where you can see that some of those squares are the same, but others were kind of split up.
Oh, right, so now we've got Polk,
And
Taylor.
there, Yuba's
Yuba,
cut where it wasn't before.
Right.
But then look at their numbers again.
Yeah, but the lot sizes seem to match what so like you would have been 67th, is that right? So I have to count. So it goes Circle, Thomas, Hannah, Beloit, Ferdinand, and then you're on Lathrop. No, what's after
Circle, Hannah, Thomas, Paul.
Circle, Hannah, Thomas,
Miss Beloit,
Beloit,
Ferdinand,
Ferdinand,
Lathrop.
Right, so you're Ferdinand, and those lot sizes don't seem, where with Lathrop, you can really see the difference in the.
It's
You know, it's
easier to go
interesting-
from Des Plaines.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting that like on this map, how it has the north-south streets or like the half streets are 74th, but then they've already renamed the east-west to, you know, fit Chicago.
Well, look at that. Adams is Cleveland. How random.
Night. I'm sorry.
And Lemur is called Railroad Avenue up, you know, and it's near the Altenheim, so it's over where we think of the railroad. It's sort of. Oh no, we don't. That's the.
Yeah, those are like
Jackson.
It's like an alley road now.
Oh, right. Is that right? So wait, you know, Ken, can you scoot this up a little bit? I'm trying to figure out where Jackson, because Jackson does the bend, is that Railroad Avenue, or is that the street where the O and the N in Monroe are, and that is not labeled?
Yeah, that's what I found is that north-south was relabeled Jackson Boulevard.
Right, so Railroad Avenue is the alley, which, right, that person drove into that apartment building like 2 years ago, right on the corner. If you go Jackson, if you go straight down Jackson, right, that would have been Railroad. So maybe it doesn't exist, that street doesn't exist totally
Yeah,
anymore.
there's nothing there. It's just really just a parking area that runs along the railroad there, and then you run into the car wash.
But at that intersection, can you, so Jennifer, do you live near there?
I live at the Grove, so
do you, is there like could you see that there could have been a street that like, because like that apartment building looks like it was built in like maybe the 50s, like the brickwork.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it was probably a road because the way it is, it's like people park off one side of it, but it's pretty an alley. But then they've put like, there's something behind, I don't know what it is. There's something behind the car wash. So there's a big building there that just blocks whatever the road was at some point. And then the car wash
is all the way at Monroe. It's behind Monroe.
The car wash is facing Madison, and then there's a building behind it that goes all the way to the grassy area by the railroad tracks. And then from behind that building, there's this road, I assume, what's left of this road. But it's been repaved so many times, it just looks like a parking lot now, a little tiny parking lot.
So I walk there pretty regularly, and I want to say hi to Bonnie and Mary Rose and Marcia for joining us. I'm sorry that you were in the I'm not the best hostess, but
I found you. Thanks. I'm here.
Yeah, so we're looking at a map from 1910 from Forest Park. And we're all just sort of free talking, but behind, so right now we're talking about, and we were actually just talking about, Marcia, your neighborhood, but we'll go back there in just a second. But we were talking about behind, and it might be worth getting a Google map, but right behind the car wash, like, because I walk there a lot, you can just walk there. There's no building, but there's a building. I mean, obviously the train tracks are to the west of that, and there is a building at the end of Monroe, but there is an open space right behind the car wash. But the railroad street, and it's funny because the alleys, if you ever walk the alleys over in that north end of town, even when the garbage men come down, they have to back up. They can't go two directions on that because they're very, the alleys by Adams, Jackson, and Monroe are very weird, except for obviously by the liquor store. But on the other side of Monroe, they're very narrow alleys. It's, you know,
Are you talking about over by the Altenheim?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But now, Marcia, Marcia, I'm trying to get your house on the we do a garden walk every year, so I'm rooting for your house to be on the garden walk. No pressure, anyone in the room. But you live at, you're on, where do you live again?
1127 Troost.
Okay, so on this map, Troost is at 77th Street, is that right? It's the first block east of Des Plaines, right?
Yeah, so it'd be 77.
And then you are, I can't remember if you're north or south of Yuba. You're south of Yuba, right?
Yeah, because 1100 block is the first block north of Roosevelt.
All right. And that has, and her backyard is one of those backyards that's extra large that you can see in the map here, that there are those like double length lots. There was a fellow with an initials. I don't, and I can't, but you were right. It does say street and place on the end here.
Yeah. Elmwood Park still has it that way. The 74th Street and the 74th Place. It's super confusing.
Right, Cicero does it too.
Me, when I'm trying to find houses, it confuses me.
What was in place was like the half block. Like the street is like the full block and the place is like the half.
But it's interesting because if you go north, because this is the older side of town, so if you can pull it closer to the railroad, thank you, Ken. So these should be pretty stable streets. So obviously, right, if you, I mean, why they didn't call Elgin all the way through, or Ferdinand all the way through is very interesting. It's sort of, although.
But yeah, that was railroad property. They may have named those streets as they developed that or sold it or something. I mean, you know, because you said those are train stops versus like the development to the south. I think what I find is interesting is Van Buren was changed to Jackson. Jackson's changed to Wilcox now. And then obviously Adams and Cleveland, they kind of like combine those into Adams. But you know, we don't have a Van Buren.
Oh, Mark, you're right. You're right.
So in 1910 or whenever this map was, this was still all residential. It wasn't all railroad or farm or anything.
So that's a good question. So like this is from 1910, and if I can figure out how to share my screen, which I just want to show my pictures so that you can get a sense of the people. And I don't know why I can't. I mean, I don't want to put it in my, I guess I could save everything to my Google Drive. That actually might be a solution.
just to note that we do have a Van Buren because I live on it.
Oh,
It's the road that goes around past the Altenheim down to the train or behind the L station. So
All right, I'm gonna put this all, because I can't figure out how to share my actual pictures. I'm just gonna.
open the
copy all my
picture in the viewer and then share the viewer. That's what he's doing. Just open the viewer and then you can page through all the pictures in that folder. Because the viewer will be the program you've shared.
Okay, Jennifer, my friend, say that again. So you want
Double
me
click
to,
on one of the pictures so it launches in a program,
okay,
like your default image viewer.
okay, hold on a second. Let me go back to my pictures. So I'm gonna,
You can't share the picture, you have to share the program that's showing you the picture. So just use an image viewer.
oh no, I'm
Was
sorry.
there a Congress Street? I'm on newspapers.com. Back in 1925, there was a big to do about the Marengo Avenue from Lamer to Harrison, about the Elgin Railway being like owners of that, and then they were trying to open a street called Congress. Interesting stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you know anything about that? Um,
Ken, yeah,
Ken?
maybe.
I'm not too sure, maybe a precursor to the Congress Expressway that was constructed.
I think what I found interesting from some of the maps and including this one, Ken, that you're sharing, is the number of train stops. And, I think of trains as very linear today. And, it's like, oh, we got the Forest Home stop and we got the Forest Park stop. And then we got, all these different lines. And there's like 4 train stops in Forest Park. Some were like on the west side, closer to Waldheim and the cemeteries, those were like suburban rails. And it's wild to think that people were just traveling through on train, that far west.
Are they talking about trains or are they talking about streetcars? Train stops.
Oh,
right.
good point. I'm not sure. Probably a combination. I mean, like there used to be streetcars going through town too, so we take for granted driving everywhere, but a lot of the train lines started to close down as the automobile developed, and I think the Prairie Path, I think that was abandoned in the late '60s formally. But wow, what a cool map showing the diversity. Still trying to put it together. I was wondering if with the flower names going north south, if like was that a standard where like flower names went north south and tree names went east west or something?
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's weird.
This is Displays right by the amusement park entrance, because you can see the Acme Grain Tower over here on the left.
Oh, cool.
So the Forest Park Waterworks is back behind here.
Look at all the gates. The crossing gate. I mean,
There's a tag on that license plate. I think it says 1940 on it, right?
imagine the noise 3 cars made.
This would be behind the park, looking west. I believe this is Des Plaines Avenue too. looking like northeast. And this, of course, is Roosevelt Road. Madison and Des Plaines.
Mhm.
This is looking south on Des Plaines.
On that previous picture, was that like the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, right here
The
on the left.
drugstore?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good catch.
Thought it looked familiar.
This is actually Des Plaines and Roosevelt.
Mhm. Wow, that's very different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Des Plaines and Roosevelt from what orientation? Which way?
Looking south on Des Plaines.
Yeah, 'cause that's
These
the-
cars are heading south on Des Plaines. This is heading north.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
the 7-Eleven is where the liquor store used to be?
Correct.
okay.
And this is Madison Street.
Where
that
on Madison is this?
Let's see, what is this?
Madison Marengo, it says at the top.
Yeah, there you go. 1946.
Madison and
Where the hell?
Marengo. So wait, what's on the corner of Madison and
Oh,
Marengo
the tea
now?
shop is?
That's like the tea shop and then the oh, that's O'Sullivan's. Oh, so that's the O'Sullivan's on the right.
It would be over here on this side.
Right. Oh,
That-
Wolf
Okay.
Brothers.
That's still there.
Circle.
This is Madison and Des Plaines. This is looking like northwest from the McDonald's.
Oh, I would have thought that that building on the corner would have been there by then in the 40s.
This is where that barber shop is and State
Oh, so
Farm.
that is the
office.
barber shop. It just looks like
Yeah.
it's set back so far. Huh.
There's a street there though.
CTA lot.
It's very cool.
Yes, that's the photo. Right, there you go. The old Forest Park stop,
Mhm.
Harlem stop.
Yep, Lake Street.
What's that?
Do you have more pictures?
Those were my train pictures.
All right, I'm going to share because I did put them on my Google Drive so I can actually share. Oh, wait, what is this? Oh, I don't know which Google Drive I'm in. Oh no.
So it sounds like some of you guys have done research in your homes and prior owners and stuff like that. Kimberly, maybe with the new house.
Jill sent me a few things, and I've looked up the address in like old editions of the Forest Park Review at the library. Nothing very exciting though, sadly.
So I beg to differ. I actually think that your house has some very interesting history because but I don't have the details in front of me, but in like the 1940s, there's a woman that announces that she married another man and she was moving, and her son Pierre, she has two sons, and she's obviously French. I don't know. Can you guys see this picture that I put up, or is that not being shared?
You're not sharing it.
Okay. But your house actually has very, to me, in my opinion, very cool, obscure Forest Park history. Very, very cool, obscure history.
We'll have to chat more about it because I'm dying to know.
Yeah, for the people who care about like obscure history, it's really
Wait,
great.
I just looked it up. I can't believe it was a brothel.
Nice. Well played.
Just saying. I mean, I don't know.
It is interesting history right there.
And it used to have, like, it has 4 doors, so plenty of entrances for all of the customers.
Yeah. I promise you, they didn't have to put that on the disclosures, Kimberly. Sorry.
Knocked 3 times.
Massage parlors in the news.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Can you guys see this screen?
No.
No.
Damn it.
Wait, do you need to make, does Ken need to make you the host to share the screen again?
I am the friggin' host.
Oh.
She has the power. She's just not sure what to do with it.
I just don't know, right? Just don't give me the power, right? Oh, this is so infuriating because I want to show you guys pictures of what was happening in Forest Park at the time when these streets with Ken's pictures. But when I go to share screen, I'm given the screen, whiteboard, iPhone, dollies. That's my article that I did. Zoom, authorized, Google. It's like, it doesn't give me, I guess I could just hit share and see what happens. All right, so you guys can you see this?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Oh, so frustrating.
You should just be able to share the browser. Like the
Okay,
whole browser.
so when you say share the browser, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know what it looks like in Zoom, but with web conference stuff, you're usually just sharing the program you're looking at. You're not sharing you're like sharing Word, or you're sharing, the browser. You're not sharing one thing on it.
So like if like right now I have a picture pulled up, right? And how do I get you guys to see this?
I would hit the share screen.
Okay, so when this is my frustration, is that the last time I shared screen, it didn't look like this. So when I hit share screen, it gives me select the window or application that you want to share. So I guess I can hit screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. You can see Herman, Han, Harlem, JP.
So then if you just click on, if those are your pictures, just click on the pictures and we'll see them.
Yes, that's great. So if I can.
Yeah, share screen again.
On the bottom right.
No, down at the bottom.
Share screen, the
big blue share screen button.
There is no big blue share screen button, but I would love to.
Well, we saw it. Let's see.
So click on your Herman Han again.
Don't click that. You can't see the cancel and share screen in your bottom right. Scroll down.
Way over.
I think maybe your resolution.
Right there, to the left of where you're at right now, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't see it. It says that this file will be shared through a shareable link. Anyone in your organization.
Yeah, we don't want that.
You
But on the right hand side, you see share screen, like on that same like white box from Zoom.
I feel like someone else should see that I don't, it's not here.
Okay.
Well, but we're looking at it.
Right, I get you, right, I get you.
Get rid of, You see where all your downloads are? Get rid of the on the bottom, the very X way on the bottom. Next to show all. On the right.
On the right bottom.
Right bottom. Do you see where it says show all in blue?
Yeah, not that one, on the actual browser.
So you guys can see where my
Yeah.
Yeah, we
okay,
can see your
top,
whole screen.
down.
So take your mouse over to the right.
okay.
And do
I'm
you
on
not?
the right.
Yeah, right
There.
there.
Close that.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see what that says. Okay, maybe that's part of the problem because you guys are
Yeah.
blocking it.
Go just a
You're
tiny bit to
blocking
the
it.
left with your mouse then and hit share screen. Oh, too far.
Okay, wait, let me move you guys over. Oh, there we go. Share screen. I couldn't see you because you were blocking it.
Oh,
All right.
good.
It's our fault.
That's right.
Oh, it says internal error.
Yeah, just go to the folder with the pictures of that's on your actual computer. You've got your screen shared, so we should be able to see it.
Right. All right. So let's go to streets.
And then just double click.
Oh yeah, now we
Yeah.
can see all that.
Okay, so you can see these.
We couldn't
Oh,
see it earlier.
yay. All right. So in 1897, there's this is like the coolest thing to me. So to think that there's like these 18 and 19-year-old men that are a part of the Turavurin Club. So this is a real picture from 1897. And these men would get together and they would do these acrobatics. So like in Brookfield, you hear more about the Sokol, Skokol, but the Sokol group, but it's all about physical fitness. And actually Uli, I don't know if this is like more common in Austria and Germany, but where these young men are doing like kind of acrobatics or physical fitness and a lot of singing and drinking. So I'm going to
You know, not anymore. Maybe it was back then.
so I just think that is fascinating in Forest Park's history.
Does that translate into something, the term, that word? I mean,
I think me,
I
think-
looked it up and it was something like, you know, physical fitness or something. It's more related to the group.
mhm.
This is Garfield School. So so one of the maps that Ken shared was from 1910. So this is a schoolroom in Garfield. And there's, I think, 40 kids in the classroom, and you can see, you know, you can tell who's naughty and not sitting still for the camera because they're a little blurry. But to think today that to have 40 kids in a classroom would just like be outrageous to us.
Yeah, and how about there's two girls up front sharing one desk?
I think that yeah, I think the desk's on the right.
Oh,
I think to make the picture, I think they had to double up a little bit.
oh, okay. Tough times with those folks.
So we had sort of talked about, Ken Knack had talked about the, in the background was the grain towers. So this picture obviously is taken from from Jackson looking west. And this is taken in the 60s or the 70s when the grain tower was really leaning and about to fall over.
no, it
But
was
the fact-
actually, Jill, there was a fire in September of 1980, because there used to be 3 towers. And after the fire, they started to demolish them, and one of them got stuck. It was stuck leaning, so then they had to bring in wrecking balls to take it down the rest of the
Oh,
way.
gotcha. So this is taken in the 80s. Well, that makes a lot more sense. But this picture, you can tell that there was a grain. So this is by Van Buren, Jennifer, by you. In that parking lot area, that's where the Acme grain towers were. And the Acme grain towers were very active in like the 1920s, but that also tells you that, you know, and I think the next picture, so I didn't turn the picture, sorry, but you can see that this is that they made, you know, in the 20s and 30s, they made feed for animals, but that was also because there was a lot of grain available. So I like to think of us, if you grew up in the area, I like to think of Forest Park as like the Naperville of like the 2000s maybe, or the 90s. but now like Monica or, these Morris, all these towns that we think of as farm country that are becoming suburbanized. But that's kind of like where Forest Park was, later down the line. So this is the blacksmith shop on Madison. This is a more recent photograph. And this is his same shop in 1906. But I'm just gonna go back and forth. It's the same shop, but it's the Kraus. And there were lots of blacksmith shops, or not lots, I think there were 3 on Madison because people were coming in for funerals to Forest Park. So again, that north side of Forest Park is much more established. There's business coming in from out of town. So there's money and coming in from out of town. The Eugene Field School, which April, I'm glad you're here, was built in 1907, and it's by an architect, E.E. Roberts, who is a famous architect in Oak Park. But this is the original Field School before, and this picture is also taken from the 80s before they put the addition on, and they changed it. So this would have been the entrance on the Field side of school. And if you go to the Field School on the the Ferdinand side of the street, you can see the old part of the building. And for those of you that have kids in school, you're familiar with how different it is between the middle school and the Field School sides. I threw this picture in. This is from, I believe, 1911. But this is at where Walgreens is today on Roosevelt and Harlem, but there were just fields. So obviously there's no Park Street because there's a lot of fields that you can play. And this was a semi-professional. I mean, everyone was a professional league. So this is Harlem and Dixon. So on the left is the home that Mayor Cowell grew up in. So this picture was taken in either the late 60s or early 70s before they were demolished. So on that corner today at Dixon and Harlem, so the house would look to the Forest Park Baptist Church, but it would be Long John Silver's.
Okay.
Or it's nothing today, I guess. Long John Silver's doesn't exist. So you have his family house on the left. They own the whole property, but on the right is a roadhouse. And there were lots of roadhouses in Forest Park. And you can still see them being remodeled. The roadhouse on Adams and Harlem is being remodeled right now.
When you say roadhouse, do you mean bar?
Yeah, it was probably, well, I mean, a place where people, especially railroad workers, would stay and, stay the night. Yes, it would be for travelers. You could, right, there would probably be a bar. I mean, there were a lot of bars, yes.
It was a bar and inn? Okay.
Possibly, but a roadhouse would be a place where you could stay, especially the railroad. There are a lot of, again, the railroad workers are kind of the king on that end of town.
Gotcha.
So this is a picture of the Ulysses S. Grant School, which is now known as Grant White. They changed the name in the late 20s. Ken, you can correct me on that. When Elizabeth White, the secretary, they put an addition on and they honored her by calling it Grant White, but it was originally the Ulysses S. Grant School. And I have another picture of it. Oh, that's not that though. This is at Franklin and Harlem. So let me think for a second. Franklin is Elite Tire, I think. But this is the, provisions, right? It's a general store. And this is in 1892.
Wow.
I just like this place. This is Duffy's Tavern. Most people know Duffy's. I didn't write down the year, but this is, probably 1906-ish. But this is the ice cream shop in town. This is the first ice cream shop. It's now Duffy's. And the building looks very, very similar.
Hey, Jill, is that the house in the background? Is that old house behind Duffy's to the left?
I don't know. I don't know. We should, maybe I should, since I've got share screen, why don't we go to MapQuest and see if I can, why won't this? Let's go here. Let's go to website. Let's go to Google Maps. I don't know Duffy's address off the top of my head, so I'm gonna sort of, oh, hold on a second, let's see where we are. Oh, well, okay, we're on our way to Duffy's. I just want to point out something that I think is very interesting. So here, this is Cermak and Des Plaines, and I personally think it's very interesting that the very first street or second street is Forest, the second street is Park, and then you have Westover, and then Burr Oak, and then Lathrop will come up in the mix, and Lathrop goes from River Forest. So he was a very prominent figure, the fact that Lathrop continues on. Okay, so let's.
Duffy's Tavern is 7513 Madison.
Thank you so much. Well, at least we got to say that North Riverside cares about, or used to care about us. All right, so we got to cross the street. So, oh, sorry.
Weird, it says 7513 online.
Yeah, it's the odd side of the street is Duffy's. So,
okay.
So you said there's a house behind Duffy's. So there's Duffy's, and then let me see if I can just really quick figure out how to. So there's Duffy's, and I'm gonna flip to the ice cream shop, and then I'm gonna try to flip back to Duffy's because that's sort of fun to do. If I can. There we go. Okay, so clearly it's the same building, right? And it looks like, so you said there's a house behind Duffy's. I don't see the house, but it might be through the alley.
Yeah.
Should I go through the alley?
Yeah, maybe an aerial view. Somebody
Well,
told me.
on Google, it's directly behind Duffy's. It's not offset like it is in the picture. Like it's in a complete line with Duffy's on Google if you're looking at it from the sky.
Sorry, everybody. All right, so if I go to.
Can you do an aerial view?
Yeah, I'm going to do that now. I'm trying to switch over to aerial. Let me do this. Okay.
Satellite. You got a satellite there.
I'm going to satellite, honey. All right, so there is this house here. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. But maybe they moved it because in the old that black and white picture, it looked like it was offset.
Yeah, it does look offset, right? That was that was a good observation. But you can see there's the sidewalks are wood. All right, onward. So this is if you've lived in the area a while, this is Kevil's, but it's now Forest Oak. Is that the name of the senior home at Circle and Elgin? This was,
It was a new one.
yeah, and this is like 1906 that this picture is from. I love this picture just because it's at Lathrop and Brown. So Max Schultz, I believe is this man here. He's he owns it. But this was very controversial when they opened this bar at Lathrop and Brown. There were 40 people that came to the forest, 40 people from River Forest who came to the Forest Park Village Council meeting in objection, and Forest Park was like, sorry, we're not dry on this side of Lathrop.
Where the Montessori school is at now.
Yes, that's where the Montessori school is. So maybe actually the next picture will be, well, this is St. John's. This building actually burnt down, and it's in, I think, where the parking lot of St. John's is today. And Ken, you can correct me. But this is their second church. Their first church, I have another picture of, and I'll flip through and show that to you. But their first pastor who founded the church would do would go both to Westchester and Forest Park in Harlem, and do most of his sermons on the railroad lines. So maybe if I zoom out, I can, let's see, go next. Okay, so this is
That was interesting, little tidbit, Jill, because, in the paper was the combining of the two parishes, right? The River Forest and Forest Park. And it's like, you have this thing that you've said, the stories don't change, right? So like, here it is, two parishes, one, I guess in terms of like combining, they've got one pastor for two parishes,
right. Yeah, the history never really changes.
Yeah.
But this is this is the original St. John's. This is the St. John's Lutheran.
Wow.
Which is significant because it's on that north side. And then there was also these other churches. We have St. Peter's, which is the Thai, or I'm sorry, St. Paul's, which is the Thai church on Dixon and Brown. And then you have the Forest Park Baptist Church, which is still running today on Harlem and Dixon. And why can I get off this picture? Maybe it's my last picture in the slideshow.
That was the original St. John's, that tiny little
That's
house.
the original, right? That's the original St. John's. So yeah, I just wanted to, have some photos to, bring in who are the people that are living here. I don't know why I love this picture so much, but I do. It's just so great. I guess there's something about like, right, these young men that are, these healthy young men, and they're showing how healthy they are, and they're doing these acrobatics, and they're all singing at bars. It's just so great. So
I think
great.
me, Mark, and Joel will start doing it again.
Just some big sticks.
It's just not what guys do at bars anymore, I guess.
Right. They were really into fitness and I just love it. I just love it so much. So maybe that's all my pictures. I was putting them together, and that might be it. But I believe it was in the 1950s that the streets became one way. And that is under Howard Moore that the streets became one way. I don't know really like what the reasoning was behind it. Probably, traffic. It's always driven me crazy as a parent. I feel like the backside of the middle school and is going the wrong direction, because it's like you have to park on the wrong side of the street. It's not really the best, but it's fine. I can, let it go. I don't have anyone in middle school in 2 months, so it doesn't matter. It's someone else's problem. So.
To go back to an earlier question, and since I'm fairly new to Forest Park, there probably were there brothels here?
Oh, yeah.
There must have been. There were in most
They had
towns.
to have been.
Anybody know where they were?
Roosevelt Road.
Makes sense.
I think that when Forest Park in its early days, a lot of the people that lived in Forest Park, they were people that were building sewer lines. So there's a lot of stories about men. I mean, bars were different in the 1900s than they are the way we think of them today. So men would wake up and they would stop at the bar and they would get a drink and then they would go to work. But the bars closed much earlier, like, 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And there's a lot of evidence that people, the drinks were free or the food was free. So people would go and they would get a meal. So you could get sausage and a real meal at a bar. So a lot of the men it was just it was a different time, and there certainly were brothels. I think that when Prohibition came in, you begin to, and you can see it through, and we did a Prohibition tour just a couple weeks ago, but there's a disintegration that happens in, like there's sort of a culture, a drinking culture that is established. And when federal agents sort of come in and stop that culture, it created actually more problems and more danger and probably more brothels and probably more of an unhealthy community. I mean, there were never machine guns in Forest Park until, Prohibition was in effect for 10 years, so right, there probably were brothels. I know that there's a place called Vogel's that I probably have a picture of. And I really like asking old timers about Vogel's, because some old timers will say, oh, I would never be allowed to go to Vogel's. And it was just a bowling alley. And then other people are like, oh, Vogel's, it was the greatest. They had, you could bowl, but it was originally a roadhouse on Madison. I'm trying to see. Oh, here's a Vogel's picture. Can you see my screen now or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So Vogel's is at the corner of Harlem and Harrison, and the owners of Vogel's, they have a stadium called. So this is where it's located at the U-Haul, but they have a stadium. Oh, that's Howard Moore. But they have a stadium that is. Let me see if I go back. No. But they have a stadium that is a Parchi Stadium, Parishi, where the Bloomer girls played. So there was girls baseball, softball here.
It was also the site of the world's first baseball museum before Cooperstown.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame, right. I'm gonna stop sharing, but I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some. Actually, I could share and let's go to the Historical Society. If we go to visit to our homepage, one of our online exhibits is the Parishi Memorial Stadium. So Vogel's had acquired this women's baseball team, which for women's history, we should talk about that. So Emery Parashy, who was he was a roofer. He had purchased the stadium and had run this National Girls Baseball League. And so this was at Harlem. Now, if you look in this picture here, oh, maybe you can't see St. Bernardine's. I have another picture where you can see St. B's in the background. But this is, this is during the war years, and the Bloomer Girls are kind of this huge sensation. They're called the Bloomer Girls because they wear pants. There are other girls teams that actually wear skirts. But yeah, Ken is right that that is where the the woman on the right here is with the Racine Bells, and she's wearing shorts. And I guess the others are wearing shorts, but the Racine Bells also played at the Parrish Stadium. So, and the Rockford Peaches.
You can see the cross in that one photo. You can see like right
Oh
above.
yeah, St. Bernardine's Cross. Good job. Yeah. But if you look at the size of that crowd, we don't even get that many people that come to the softball games. I mean, it's just an immense number of people that come into town for to watch games. And that stadium is also where the Ferrara Pan now, where their parking lot is. So
Before television and internet. Crowds.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting, you know, because when you talk about this and with it being on the website, but then, you know, Forest Park was so developed by that time that none of the street names, you know, really are at play anymore. You know, it's like it was a mature village already.
Right. And it's always changing, but oh, I guess I brought up Vogel's only because it was originally a roadhouse with a bowling alley, and they were one of the first bowling alleys in town. And you know, you had asked if there were, you know, if it was, you know, I think that on Roosevelt Road there is, you know, what is now the Golden Steer. I don't know how loose things were there. I don't, that was the Pink Clock, which if you're into history of mob history, that's kind of a significant place. But Roosevelt, which again had there's a lot more mob history along Roosevelt in Forest Park than in other parts of town. The Triangle Cafe. Do you have something else, Ken? You look like you have something else you want to share.
I've got a few other pictures I could show. These are from the Kistenbroker family archives. They were a monument company, one of many monument companies that used to be in Forest Park. This is actually from the tower of Forest Home Cemetery. This is looking south on Des Plaines. This is just south of, I guess, Harvard, where the Des Plaines makes its curve.
What year is this?
I guess it's probably like the 40s.
So where that bench is that where the Forest Park plating would be?
No, a little bit further south. I don't know the address of the plating. Trying to pull it up on my phone.
Well, like where Anjay, found the sculpture restoration is.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit further up, a little bit further north. So this is a little bit further south. This is just south of Harvard, closer between Harvard and Taylor.
Yeah, well, right, because he's at Harvard and between Harvard and Polk. Is that right? Anyway.
Yeah, that's where he's at. This is the Kistenbroker's home. It was a huge Victorian house. Not sure who this is. One of the Kistenbrokers. This is on Des Plaines Avenue looking, I mean, the plating is probably down the street a little bit down here. This is the Kistenbroker office. Here's an aerial shot. So the entrance to Forest Home Cemetery is probably down up here by this crotch of the tree up there. This is their monument yard. This is one of the granddaughters sitting on a headstone. That's the entrance to Forest Home Cemetery. Some more family pictures.
Why did they have the picture of the white fawn in that picture before?
Yeah, I can't unfortunately, I can't rotate this.
But wait, go back to the picture before that, because it had the picture of the white fawn.
Yeah, this is taken from the Forest Park Centennial Book 56.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. So it's got the.
Yeah, because
it's just a picture. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this was from their archives, so you know they have the
Gotcha.
broker, and this was their house. This was on Des Plaines.
That's magnificent. This is so is their house on the east or the west side of Des Plaines?
It was on the east side. Because they're the ones that put these monuments in Forest Home Cemetery too. That's Old Man Kistenbroker. And they also did this monument in the cemetery as well.
Oh, very nice.
And
oh, I didn't realize. Look at that. He was one of the trustees, or
yeah, right here.
That is so cool.
So
that is very cool, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, I've also got a bunch of images from my book. I mean, if we wanted to, we got some time, we could run through some of them. If not,
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me see.
I'd love to see them.
So this is actually from the 40s or 50s, because this is where later on it was Amlings. This is the Forest Home Gardens nursery that was at Roosevelt and Des Plaines. And
we can't see it.
See. Up at the top of the picture, you can't see that? Like
well, I'm still seeing the trolley. I don't know if anyone else, but I see the trolley turning on Des Plaines.
Really?
Kissing box.
Same here.
Same.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay, maybe I got to. What are you guys seeing now? Oh, it's seeing my sharing is paused. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, let's get rid of that trolley.
Oh, there, that's better. Oh, now I can see all of you.
Do you see the postcard now or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys see the Haas house?
No, still see the postcard. Who can name everything in the postcard? Oh, it's too late.
Okay, so you see the Haas house now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there, nice.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
the
the white fawn
mural.
mural. That's the little dummy line that used to run to Waldheim Cemetery.
They even called it dummy. That's funny.
Yeah. There's the white fawn.
The
There we
Coulson
go.
box. Oh yeah. What a magnificent home.
Look at that porch. Wow.
Where was that located?
That was on Des Plaines Avenue. I think there's apartment buildings that are in that location now.
Are those the apartments that kind of look a little bit like that? Like very slightly, they have the rounded? Or is that on the other side? Is it on the west side?
Well, this is on the east side.
Yeah, there's like a block of like townhouses that just very faintly looks like this. And I wondered if that was on purpose, maybe. The architect was inspired.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Actually, this house might have been like at the corner of Taylor and Des Plaines. That's probably where it was. There's Altenheim, probably how it's going to look pretty soon after they tear down all the other buildings around it.
I'm excited to watch that out my window.
Here's the Forest Park's first village hall.
Right,
This
so that's
building-
at the corner of Circle and Randolph, across from the school. It's the
For the park.
what do they call the park now? Remembrance Park? No, that's I don't know what they call the park over there.
You know, they moved this building like 3 times before they finally destroyed it. It was like, it's a shame that they ultimately destroyed it, but
I think it is called Remembrance Park.
this
That's
is
cool.
Madison Street House. This was the Henry Lick family. I think this is right. Maybe
I think it's where McDonald's was.
no, it was.
No?
I think it was kind of like where the Hallmark, the soon-to-be Played Against
Oh.
Sports. I think that's where this was at.
Right.
I believe this is inside the Madison Street house.
Baby in the bar.
This is the widening of the Des Plaines River. This is looking from the bridge in the cemetery, looking south.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, here you go. Here's the
Duffy's.
old Duffy's building and the Kevel. And this was one of the ice houses that was kind of, I guess, where Farmington or the lumber yard is now. This is the Lobstein house on Elgin.
It's pretty.
Wow, I've never seen that picture. That's amazing.
And actually, it was for sale.
It's time travel back and buy it.
Right, they don't have the same that the around the
Why do they
porch.
close
It doesn't
this?
have the long wood beams anymore.
This is the original entrance to Concordia Cemetery.
Why do they
Oh,
always
cool.
get rid of those amazing entrances? I don't understand.
And then this is, so this must be straight down Gale. Because
Correct,
this is
yeah.
completely gone, right? And right, and I learned from your cemetery tour, right, because when you're actually in the cemetery, you can see how the burials are set up around this entrance. And then there's a
Yeah.
new entrance, so, yeah,
And actually, the chapel that's still there is made out of the same stone.
right, right.
That's the new entrance.
Eastland.
Eastland.
Yeah, this is, last year was the anniversary, the 105th anniversary of the Eastland.
Elizabeth Taylor. Entrance to Waldheim.
And again, so pretty.
This is down, looking down Displays. This was the
Forest
first
Home.
entrance to Forest Home Cemetery before that later one from the 40s that I showed you. And this was Ferdinand Haas's house. And I think this is the Zimmerman house. These are where the condominiums on Desplaines Avenue are now.
And they're selling out. They're converting. I think they might be taking them down entirely and doing something different there now.
Oh, Billy Sunday.
This is the old bridge in Forest Home Cemetery. This
Is that-
this is where they're building the mausoleums in Woodlawn Cemetery.
Wow. That is so creepy.
Gentleman's rest.
This is, remember we saw those gates along Desplaines Avenue in that earlier streetcar picture? This is the amusement park entrance is over here to the left.
Okay.
That's what I was
That's
really,
so cool.
I kind of bummed out that I missed it, but you can see the brick streets when Desplaines was brick. And my mom moved here in 1946, and she said that almost all the streets were still brick at that time.
Oh, that's cool.
The little train.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be so cool to go back to see that amusement park in its heyday.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
The is there a significant building, you know, where the Beacon tap is over across from Farmington?
Mm-hmm.
On the same side of the street, if you're going west, wasn't one of those houses the original American Legion Hall or a memorial hall? Do you know of that?
By the Beacon. Not that I'm aware of.
Someone told me that the first one or two houses to the west was the original VFW hall before they built the on Adams and Circle.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. This is the racetrack. And that's another thing too. I mean, imagine there was a full-size racetrack like the size of Arlington, you know, in Forest Park, where they did auto races and horse races, and this poor chap got his face punctured. Yeah, here you could kind of see the golf course too. After the racetrack closed, they turned it into a golf course. So here's the clubhouse, and you can see some of the sand traps.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and here you go. Here's St. Bernardine's in this picture.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Right off the third base.
And here's, you know, an earlier view of Field Stevenson before the gymnasium was built.
St.
Wow.
John's. Wow, look at all
Yep.
those.
Oh my God.
And I think the town supported 3 Lutheran churches too.
Right, right. How about it?
They even had an extension on the south side of.
Right, the school on the south side, right?
Yeah.
what was the average family size back then? 7, 8, 10 kids?
Right, and the houses are about the same size.
This was the first St. John's school. My understanding is that they tore it down after the was the Holy Angels fire in the city.
Yeah,
or,
the rules
Our Lady of Angels
for,
in 1958.
yeah,
yeah,
this building
that's
was very
exactly
similar
right.
to that one.
Right,
Interesting.
they couldn't, they were no longer passing people. It's too devastating. Passing buildings in. Baptist. Well, this is an interesting picture because oh no, I'm sorry, that's St. Paul's. I thought that was something, I thought that was the Baptist. But
What's kind of interesting now, if you go there, there's an old house that's over here, and it's like it must have been moved. And that's another thing when you're talking about the streets of Forest Park. My aunt had like a 2-flat on Ferdinand, just south of Jackson, and it was moved when they built the expressway.
Right.
So
There's a lot of houses that moved. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because right, there are a lot of old houses over there, but yeah, it must have moved.
yeah, this is the Baptist church. And that was one of the coolest things about working on the book when I was doing the book is I actually went to all these churches because I grew up just going to St. Bernardine's. So I had never been in the Baptist church or
Right,
St.
right.
Paul's or St. Peter's. It was really cool experience to check them out. That's why I always thought when I was on the board that a church tour would be cool.
Oh, that would be very cool. Yeah.
You can see the wooden sidewalks here.
Mhm.
Hey, Ken,
Yeah.
on the subject of St. Bernardine, do you know anything about a tunnel going underneath the road near Pan over to the church, St. Bernardine? There was like an underground tunnel. Somebody told me about this like a couple months ago. I was getting some candy, and this guy stopped me because he saw my Historical Society sticker. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, there was. I'm like, okay. So I don't know if
Nah.
that's true.
The only tunnels I heard about, there was one that supposedly went from the Moose Hall into Forest Home Cemetery because the Moose Hall was an old speakeasy. And then the tunnels, of course, at the torpedo plant.
Okay. Yeah.
So what do you know about the tunnels at the torpedo plant?
Supposedly they extended pretty far into the Jewish cemeteries. And that there was also like a tunnel from because there used to be an area of housing. I think I have a picture of that probably coming up somewhere in here.
Wait, what is that? Oh, that's St. B's. Sorry. It's
This
a
one?
school. Yeah, no, the one before it. That was St. B's school.
So that was where they tested the torpedoes, Ken, or?
Well, that's where they housed them, I guess.
Okay.
In case there was an air raid or something. I mean, we're in the middle of the country. That'd be kind of extreme, but
yeah.
But then there was also tunnels from the housing into the plant. And, I also heard rumors that there was a tunnel that went miles and miles. So I never experienced. I did explore some in the torpedo plant before they converted it to the mall.
It looks like Eagles Lodge there, right?
Yeah.
In its heyday.
Oh, wow. I didn't pick up on that. Yeah.
I also always thought that would be kind of a nice home for the Historical Society, but
I agree.
I always thought, St. Peter's St. Peter's was a bit of a stretch,
Well, it's got a cool bar in the basement. I've been down there.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see.
Wait, go back. I need a minute. I need to soak this in. So Des Plaines looking north. Okay. Thank you. You can turn the page now.
Yeah, I believe it's north of Madison.
Oh, Gaydon's Hall. Yep, Gaydon's Hall. Forest Park Garage, Quaker.
Now this is Des Plaines, and once again, you can see how almost all the streets were brick back then.
Oh, that's cool. I think that's where Krenex Antiques is, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. I gave him a copy of a postcard. This was on Roosevelt and Marengo. I guess across from where the Kellys was at, its parking lot. When I was growing up, it was known as Peterson's, but it was the Henry Bull Market.
Nice. Yeah, like those kids are probably like 14.
It's a tough looking 14-year-olds.
I know. Well, they just, it's back in the day, everyone looked older than they really were, than the way they look today. Oh, wow.
Autograph Zeppelin.
Did the Zeppelin come to Forest Park at something? Or?
Yeah, it passed over.
Oh,
Passed over Forest Park, yeah. This building was at Roosevelt and Thomas, I believe. And in one of the racetrack pictures, you can kind of see the turrets in the upper portion of it.
Wow, look at that.
Hardware, yeah.
Here's an inside view of the hardware store. This was on the golf course, I guess old racetrack land too. This building is still here. This is where that Mica building was on Circle, like 15th and Circle. And then this would be the train tracks that ran.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that is so cool, Ken, because I live just on the other side of that Mica building. I live over. Yeah, because I'm on 1500 Marengo. That is so crazy.
When we were kids, we used to go along those railroad tracks and we still used to find pieces of mica.
Wow. So it was a mica factory. Interesting.
This is the park when they were building the park. And, this is, I think this is Beloit, actually. Like Harrison and Beloit.
Oh, yeah.
Before the expressway was built.
Oh, wait, go back to that. What did that say on the side? Go back. One more.
This one?
Dutch Oven Tavern, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Sandwich.
Sandwich shop.
Something specials. Get some broth. Nice.
Hey, Ken, in front of the field house, was there a big, like, I saw people skating there. Was there like where the grass is now? Was there a big like fountain, not fountain, but maybe a lake there, or is it a mini lake or something?
Well, they had that little wading pool.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oak Leaf Laundry with all the cars. So Tom Zimmerman, I really wanted him to come tonight. But yeah, he said that the dry cleaning industry really went downhill in the 70s when polyester came out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Polyester. Oh, look at all those roof chests.
Yeah, the roof chests.
All over the place on eBay. You can find them.
That's a good picture, Ken.
I found one kind of like this at the thrift shop in Oak Park, and it was right before I got married, and it was kind of it was in pretty decent shape. I mean, it had to be resanded and refinished, but I think it was like $50, and I was like, should I get it? Should I? And I was like, all right, come back. I came back the next day, and it was gone. It was.
I picked one up for the Historical Society like 2 years ago from LaGrange for $10. I mean, they're, 20 years ago they couldn't give them away. So, it's got to be look out for them because they're, some people sell them for $200 and other people you can get one for $5.
Right.
I think I showed this one before. This is Roosevelt, and a lot of these buildings are still there.
Oh yeah, that's so Roosevelt, right? That's the old Horans, and now it's a yeah, right. And then the yeah.
And then you got this War Memorial boulder that's moved. I can't believe they've moved it so many times. It was here at the Village Hall, then it was across the street at the library, then they moved it over to that little park where the church was.
It's right next to Mark.
This
Well,
is
the post office is a big deal.
this is 22nd, and this is the entrance in the Woodlawn.
Yeah, like a highway, middle of nowhere.
I guess they used to have a tuberculosis sanitarium, like where the North Riverside Mall was at, and I think there's also like an Audi home for, or
Juveniles.
yeah, juvenile facility. Some pictures inside the torpedo plant.
Hey Ken, maybe I could use one of these pictures of the torpedo plant. It's Women's History Month, and for the review, I do these look backs. And the picture that I really wanted to use is from the Tribune, and I can't republish pictures from the Tribune. But maybe can I borrow or put this picture in the? I can give you credit, but put this picture in the review next week. I just want to, because women were working during World War II, and the torpedo plant was a huge employer of women. It's kind of significant historically.
I think I got that picture from the Village, so I don't think they would have a problem with it.
I'm sure they don't.
Yeah, I got that from the Village.
I'll give them credit. It's just I can't republish Tribune photographs because they own it, And then they'll come after me because they're a newspaper. They'll come after me. Oh, wait, what was the restaurant? Oh, that's Herman Zweibel.
This was Homer's. That was Homer's.
Oh, that was
restaurant.
Homer's? Oh, that's cool. Homer's is right. So it's Zweibel. Yeah, so that's Roosevelt Road. That's the corner of Circle and Roosevelt.
Yeah, this was my dad's cousin's service station there.
That's fantastic.
That's the old library.
Wow.
This is kind of interesting because this is the Altenheim Depot.
Wow, crazy.
When I was a kid, when I went to Proviso East, there was still like remnants of it. It was like in a bunch of, this scrub thickets and all that, but there was, I think like the floorboards were left of it. Wow. And this is where the car wash is now.
Oh, that's so interesting. Right, so that's like the grassy knoll at on Madison, like between the train and Van Buren, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The grassy knoll, yeah.
Oh, look at the old timers. Yep.
So you had dinner tonight.
Yeah. And it's interesting that the firehouse is still that firehouse. It's just that they built out the addition and they stuccoed it.
No wonder the fire department's always like, yeah, we got the oldest firehouse, right?
Yeah,
No,
the back of the firehouse is still this building.
That is hilarious.
Oh, really? Is it really? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, here's another picture. This is now the train is crossing Madison. So this is where the car wash is.
Yeah, so that tavern, so there was someone telling me the story about when she was little, she grew up, she's now in her 80s, and oh, the Bowlers Club. Wow, that's a great picture, Ken. But she said she's now in her 80s, and when she was a little girl, she grew up in the house, and she remembers, during the war, the train would stop over there, and she lives on Monroe, and they would all, like, everyone would be looking for decks of cards, all sorts of things to give to the men because they were on the train, and they would be giving the soldiers all this stuff. She's like, I didn't know for 70 years that they were stocking the car full of booze at
Oh, wow.
that bar. She had no idea, but that's what they were really doing. But they thought they had stopped for people to give them.
Here's a matchbook. Here's a matchbook from that bowlers club.
Oh, good.
Because I saw that next time your next meeting is going to be about matchbooks, and I used to collect them when I was a kid, and I think I've got some out in the garage that I haven't seen in years, but I imagine I've got some cool old Forest Park ones, so I'll have to dig through those next.
Excellent.
Jill, did you just say that they stopped the train so they could fill up at the bar?
They would fill up with kegs or whatever. They were just filling up with booze for the men. Yeah.
Cool.
So they parked, the train stopped, and, like, as a little girl, she was like, she didn't know why the train stopped, but all the neighbors would be looking for all sorts of things to give to the men, the boys, to send the troops along, decks of cards. But she didn't realize that the reason that it stopped was not so that, like, some random neighborhood would just give them stuff.
They wanted to drink.
They were filling the car filled with booze. So that one of the cars.
That's a riot.
So this one here shows Homer's Restaurant, and that's that lot next to the bank. So, there's a hardware store. So I believe that's where Jerry Jacknow's office is.
Right, because Homer's is gone. Because Homer's is now the lot where they park their cars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
wow, look at that.
Because this picture probably dates to like the 70s, I'm guessing.
Scientifically refrigerated. Nice.
That street lamp, or that lamp that's angled to the left, that's still there. That's still in that parking lot. Yep.
Quidditch.
Would that be where the Ben Franklin is? Was that a Ben Franklin?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that's where Hallmark used to be a Ben Franklin, I think.
Five and Dime, yeah.
And here's the old Forest Theater. Good old
Bishop's Chili.
Bishop's Chili. Wow. Yeah, that's where Walgreens is now.
I think
when
was
I was a kid, my dad would stop and get Bishop's Chili. Like, I remember that.
I think this was one of my first historical pictures I took, because I knew that was going. Here you got the hideaway, that
the gondola, right?
Oh, wow.
Back when it was the gondola room.
That's cool. Ken.
Look at that old Mercedes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind driving that around town.
69 Camaro behind it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's Carol's. So yeah, I think the only buildings that are going to be left are going to be this one and this one, right?
Right, because they're getting rid of the nursing home section, and then of course the chapel.
Yeah, all of the newer stuff in the chapel is going, but all the old buildings are still going to be there.
I had heard somebody was putting in some sort of bid for a special usage for all the land behind it now too.
Well, I know the mayor wants it to be apartments or condos or something, and of course we all want it to be a park, but I don't think we're going to get our way. So, the park department didn't want it for some reason, so.
Motorama.
Yeah, the old.
It was like an indoor
Oh, like a
car
slot
racing.
car? Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
So wait, this next picture, is this across from Garfield? No, the next
oh, this
one.
one?
Yeah. Is that the building? No, I can't. Where is this?
I don't know if I
God, it's
identified
like
it.
245.
Oops.
245, what would that be? So obviously it's on the north side of town, 245.
It's Jackson, I think. I think it's Jackson.
Oh, Uli, I bet you're right. Right. Oh, wait, but 200 wouldn't be Jackson.
Yeah, where it goes north.
Yeah, but still 200, I mean, that's 400 Jackson.
Oh, in my
Oh,
book.
you're right. Never mind.
Yes,
You're right.
I see
I'm
it.
thinking of
This is
400.
this was the west side of Des Plaines at Washington.
Mm.
It
Hmm.
was from like
So west side of
1966.
Des Plaines at Washington. So that would be at Washington, right? But right, Washington no longer goes through. I mean, it does sort of, but this would be, there's just big condos there. It's just
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
condo
yeah.
land, right? Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so and
Oh.
now these were the homes I was talking about. So there was supposedly a tunnel that went from the plants to these homes. This is where the
Right. So
Walmart.
that's where Walmart is, right? The officers' homes, right? The officers' quarters.
Oh, okay, so that's where, that'd be the Walmart.
Hmm.
And some of these buildings, I think, still exist back here that are part of the post office.
Mm-hmm.
The racetrack would have been where?
Roughly this whole area.
Okay.
And that's where the amusement park was as well?
So this,
No.
wait, no, the amusement park was not there. The amusement
No.
park was where the Eisenhower is. But if you go back a picture to the, so this is Steve McQueen. Wait, go forward.
Whoop, forward.
Snow removal.
This one.
So this guy, Steve McQueen, owned he was a construction guy. And during whatever the big storm was of 67 or whatever, but Forest Park, I mean, like Forest Park is still bragging about this, but they cleared their streets. Like it was one of the, right, like the front page of the Oak Leaves, the paper for Oak Park was like, yeah, Forest Park is clean, right? You can travel in Forest Park. But Steve McQueen and they put all the snow at the park district. It was just a mess.
And these are
Old-timers will
postcards.
tell you all about it.
The
Otto's?
inside of Otto's, yep. Old Town West.
Wow, that's so cool.
There's the
Oh, look at
park.
that motorcycle. That's awesome.
Yeah. This is inside the Pines.
Mm-hmm.
Meter maids.
Inside the old police station.
Throw them in jail.
Oh, is that I don't know is that the post office? Building the post office? It's too late. The cars are too recent.
No, this is when they're building a new village hall.
Oh, sure.
So they put the new village hall here, and then they tore down the old one. So this is the parking
Gotcha.
lot. And as you can see the 3 grain towers up here.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see, and now you can see here, this shows you that the addition they built onto the front of the firehouse to house the snorkels and stuff. But it's essentially the back half of the firehouse goes back to 1920s.
Wow. Yeah.
Here's a house being moved, and it looks like a couple of houses being moved.
Sorry for the potholes.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah, 2 houses. What's interesting is the age of the vehicles there, like,
Yeah, that's clearly after the expressway was built.
yeah,
You probably couldn't afford to move a house these days. You probably couldn't afford it.
Yeah, right. Oh,
And it's,
daily.
Howard Moore and the 2 dailies.
Oh, my God.
Look at that. The old, right, the old pool.
Now, Joel, I know you're a postcard guy, right?
Postcards and yeah. Black
Well,
and
it's
white.
interesting on the back of this postcard. This postcard was sent by Jackie Schultz of the Forest Park Review to some lady in like New York. And at one of my postcard shows, I came across it and I was like, oh my God, it's from Jackie Schultz. And I showed it to her when I had my book signing. She really got a kick out of that.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really cool.
So that would be
Oh.
entrance. That would have been
Yeah.
an entrance to the.
Yeah,
to
so
the
this was my then and now section of my book. So this was the entrance to the amusement park, and this is the same view roughly today.
So the train line, what would be the blue line, right? Was actually in the other
Yeah.
picture, but not elevated.
Yeah, exactly. That was the well, and it was also the Chicago Aurora and Elgin.
Okay.
Which is now the Prairie Path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then this is the Harlem State Bank.
Which is now, yes, which is now
was-
Forest Park
Oh,
National.
very
It's not
cool.
O'Sullivan's.
Okay.
I was incorrect once.
And this is the Forest Park State Bank, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And Forest Home Gardens came home to Jerry Gleason.
Which was Amlings before that.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah. And
Or was Amlings
whatever-
set back further?
it was Forest Home Gardens, and then it became Amlings, and then here again you can see the addition. And my understanding is that the firemen themselves added that.
I think that post box is still there at the corner on the Village.
What?
Oh,
You drop your mail off right there at the corner.
It is there.
Mhm.
bullet holes? Did you say?
Joel. Oh my
Yeah,
No,
God.
see, there it
did-
is.
I didn't know what she said. I didn't mean that in the wrong way. I just.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. I said the post box, the
Oh,
mailbox.
When actually they cut off a couple of these pillars and they kept them in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've always
Yeah.
wondered why there was those Greek style pillars on our really ugly 60s.
Yeah, they came from the old Village Hall.
Oh, the old pool. Wow.
Yeah, you can see how much bigger the old pool was.
Right.
I mean, this was the original pool, and then in like the 60s, they made it smaller, but it was still quite a bit bigger than the pool today. And that's the entrance
yeah.
to Woodlawn.
Okay.
And this is looking down Des Plaines Avenue. And then the library.
Hmm.
Which now looks like that.
Same location though?
Yeah, same location.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
And actually the tracks were there until recently when they redid Madison Street.
Yeah, when they were doing Madison west of Des Plaines, when they put those center medians. Those the tracks are still in there.
Mhm.
The liquor store should put the dome back on.
Yeah. Tell them to get on that.
And then here this is that picture we saw earlier, the Village Tavern,
Oh, this is nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Pancake House. And that's about it. Oh, here's a panorama of the racetrack.
Nice.
So
I actually got that. I was struggling to find a picture of the racetrack, and I found that at Shanahan's.
Wow.
They let me borrow the pictures off the wall and scan them.
That's cool.
So Ken, I'm on the relentless task of finding, where the corner where Doc Ryan's used to be, which is Elgin and Madison on the north side of the street of Madison.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's still for rent. It's a old building. There was a Sears that went in there. It opened right before the Depression, I think like August of 1929, and it only lasted a couple years. But they had like 2 or 3 storefronts, from the corner all the way to basically where the yoga place is now, or the exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
So they took up 3 storefronts, plus their offices were in the basement of that building.
Huh.
Probably where the laundry would be now. And then if you look at those buildings, the one behind it, which is apartment buildings, well, there's apartments above the building I'm speaking of, but behind that, before there, I guess there was a garage. So they used to sell tires. So they used to change tires either on Madison Street, or behind there may have been a small garage. But I can't find anything through like a Sears history about that. I mean, it was only open probably 3 or 4 years at the most.
Really?
Yeah. And I have found ads in the Forest Park Review. I mean, when this was going to be open, I mean, it was like a big thing on Madison Avenue, like a Sears was coming to town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was easy accessible from Harlem, from probably the train routes. And, it wasn't as big as the Sears stores like in Chicago or something, but it was like enough for like a small community to be, but I cannot find anything other than the Forest Park Review, the sales ad, the opening day for it. And then all of a sudden I can't find it anymore. And then it just goes up for rent. And there was a couple, looks like they split the storefronts into a couple different addresses. And one was like, it was on the corner, it was like a diner, and then, a couple shops here and there, but, I'm on my relentless search to look for something like that.
And what years are you looking?
So 1929, and I lose track around 1935, 36. But it opened like right before the Depression hit in was it October of 29? The market crash, was that October of 29?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll look through my stuff and see if I can find anything for you.
Yeah. So.
Well, now I'm really looking forward to the matchbook discussion. And
yeah, I really hope I have some of my old ones, because I had a bunch when I was a kid, and I think I have them out in the garage. So hopefully they're still out there.
Joe, how do you want me to do that? Do you want my collection and you just put them on your laptop and then show them that way?
yeah, we can talk about what the best way to do it is. I have some that I can add to your collection, or the Historical Society collection. You might already have them. I'm sure they're not rare. But yeah, we'll have to connect in the next week or 2.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Well,
All right.
I guess this is it. Well, thank you all, and thanks for hanging out and talking history.
Yeah, thanks. Ken.
Thank you for presenting.
Yeah, Ken, that was great.
Yeah, Ken, thanks for all the pictures and everything.
Yes.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I always like talking Forest Park history.
So we have the next one set is just, you know, matchbooks, but you know, if anyone has any ideas for, you know, a random topic for I guess we're in March, so April is matchbooks. And matchbooks will mostly be businesses along businesses around town, because people handed out matchbooks all the time in the 40s and 50s and 60s, so it's gonna kind of target around there. But if anyone has any ideas for a topic for May, we're open, and these are pretty informal. So
Yeah, I think it's cool to have the topic to get us started, and then, you know, just kind of dive into whatever. I mean, seeing-
yeah, right. You never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all very
All right,
much for
guys.
coming.
Good
Have
night.
a good, safe night.
Bye.
Hey, good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.